closer so we don't block the entrance and you can hear me because it's a loud place here. I'd like to welcome you to this free walking tour here in Zurich today on Monday morning. My name is Jonathan. I'll be your tour guide on today's tour. The tour will last about 1 hour 30, 1 hour 40. And I do have three important, I don't like to say rules, let's say guidelines for this tour. So number one is, today it's your tour and not my tour. You know, I've done the tour already many times as a participant and also as a guide, so I might know what is interesting for you. But you are my guest, so whenever you feel like, oh, that's a great building or that's a great building, just ask me, Jonathan, what's that and what's that? If you feel I'm talking too long about the subject, which is completely boring, now, how do you tell it to me? How would you tell it? We're in Switzerland, you have to be very, very diplomatic. No, that's too offensive, like this? No. Come on, move on. Maybe you should go for an excuse. That's how we do it in Switzerland. Like, oh, that's a really, really interesting story, but we're running out of time, you know? This means it was horrible. Let's continue. Second thing is we have great weather. Please take pictures on the tour. Now today it's a very special tour. We have Julien, he's also a tour guide, and he will even film the tour. Now he will quite film a bit randomly. So in case you don't want to be on the movie, or in case you are here with a person you're not supposed to be with, it happened already twice on my tour, that's what I'm always asking. Just let Julien know and he will not film you, okay? That's everything, he will just look right at the tour. And the third thing, this is a free walking tour. Who of you has ever done a free walking tour in any other city? About half. Okay, so it's a very simple concept that we do it as well. We are a group of independent guides that just travel a lot. And when we are not traveling, we have the world travel for us. And we're happy to show you our city. However, probably we're one of the only ones in Switzerland that have a job which is not fixedly paid. So we're not paid by anybody, not by the city, not by any other organizations. So it's only from you and it's only tip-based. That means at the end of the tour, you can decide how much this tour was worth for you. And I'm like you, that likes to be appreciated for my work, as you can imagine, but of course we leave it up to you to decide how much a tour was worth. Does this sound like a fair deal for everybody? I hope so. Great. Let's make a very, very quick introduction round so we know where we're all coming from, and then we will start at the Old City. So if you could tell me your name and where you're from. So I'm Jonathan from Switzerland. You are?
Justin from Germany.
Germany. Coming?
Justin's from Melbourne, Australia.
Melbourne. Hello. US. Australia, yeah. Australia.
Alyssa from the US.
US, yeah. US. US. Israel. Israel and Canada, yeah. From Switzerland, a local. Ah, that's good to know. So you're going to help me out with the difficult questions, right? Thank you. Yes? Also Switzerland. Cool. Yes?
California.
From California, yeah. England.
Melbourne, Australia.
Melbourne, Australia. Melbourne, Australia.
US.
US. Slovenia. Texas. Germany. Let's go. Hong Kong. Israel. Melbourne. Texas. Yeah. Israel. Melbourne.
England.
US. Sorry, I forgot somebody. No. US. Yes. England. US. Yeah. Colombia.
New Zealand.
US. Let's go here. England and Germany. Also Netherlands. Yes. Germany. Deutschland. England. Poland. Okay. Wow. Cool. Very international. So let's start with one question. What's the capital of Switzerland? Not for you to answer. Okay. Who's for Geneva? One. Who's for Zurich? Are you all well prepared? Of course it's Bern, yes. Now I do this because people usually or sometimes say Zurich. Zurich is the largest city. We'll discover it now. The second largest city is Geneva. That's why some people think it's Geneva. And honestly, my favorite one is sometimes I hear Stockholm, which is beautiful because Stockholm is a capital but from another city. But yes, Bern is the capital. Zurich is the largest city. We have 400,000 people. And I'd say let's discover the old town and let's learn what a very smart lady has done 1200 years ago that influenced the whole development of the city of Zurich. Just another little rule, we're going to cross your Paradeplatz. There are many trams here. keep in mind the trams are bigger and stronger than you, so just don't mess with them. Zurich is clean and safe, but be a bit careful with the tram. They're really, really silent, so let's be careful when crossing. Okay, if you have any questions while walking, feel free. I'm here to answer them. Okay, let's go. Want to join the tour? Yeah, what? You were here with you guys want a map? You're sharing. Welcome to the tour. One more crossing.
Traveling around. We were in Austria. Next easiest place for him to fly out of.
You stay here for now.
I leave Zurich, then I go to Florence, and then I go to
That's during the US.
yeah. Not deserty, but it's definitely not too bad.
It's not snowing, no?
Sometimes, but not very often.
Okay, let's go here.
Definitely not north. Where
Yeah.
we live up north, and it snows about once or twice a year.
Pani trzyma, bo
Okay, let's make a quick stop here. Let's stop here. Let's just keep the exit open so people can exit the church. Great. Can you hear me at the back? Yes, if not, let me know. I'll speak louder. Okay? Great. So, we start with this following painting. Have a look here. And tell me what you see. Jesus. What is unique on this picture? I mean, what is... Yeah?
The two people on the edge are holding their heads.
Exactly. Have a look at the two people on the side holding their heads. What a horrible tour! What a horrible start of a tour, huh? People holding their heads. Okay, keep this picture in mind. Have a look at the man standing there on this church with a crown about in the middle. See on the tower, on one of the towers there is a man with a crown. Okay, keep also this person in mind. and later I'll tell you how all these coins are related. Let's keep this in mind for now. Okay, we're going to start now in the year 800. Now don't worry, we're not going to be very chronological on this tour, because if so, I'll have you to walk straight and back all the time. So we're going to be more not chronological, but at the end we'll summarize everything so you have a perfect overview of what has happened in Zurich. We start in the year 800. So Zurich was part of the Holy Roman Empire that was ruled by Louis II, and Louis II had several daughters. However, his favorite daughter's name was Hildegard. So he went to Hildegard and said, "No, Hildegard, I'm a very powerful man, I'm a ruler in a huge empire, and I love you, you're my favorite daughter, so I'd like to give you something absolutely unique." Now, question to all the ladies in this group. Imagine your father had all the money and all the power in the world and wants to offer you something. What would you like to get? Yeah? An island, okay. What else? Sorry? A palace, okay. I'm still waiting for the answer Hildegard got, of course. What did Hildegard said? What, a church? Almost. Hildegard said, "I'd like to get a convent." Yeah. Where's the enthusiasm here? No. What the hell did she do? It was a smart choice. Let's see why. Women from the nobility in the 8th century, actually, they could either get married or become a nun. Now Hildegard got even more. Not only she became a nun, she also became the de facto ruler of the city of Zurich. So when Hildegard became here the nun, she was also the one collecting tax money, organizing markets, choosing the mayor. The mayor was a man, but the women knew whom they want to become a mayor. So all the power was concentrated here for 500 years. Hildegard and all the ladies that came after her were ruling actually in Zurich. Now what happened later? From this convent, a church came a church, a Catholic church and a Protestant church. And today you find here one of the most well-known tourist attractions of Zurich. What can you see here inside? Chagall windows. Have you visited them?
I visited.
You have? Did you like them?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're really, really stunning. So they're 5 9-meter tall windows painted by Marc Chagall, a very, very famous painter. And there is, by the way, always a big fight about his nationality when it's about Chagall. Usually Russian or Belarusian people are proud to say, "Nous Chagall, Bill Nash, he's one of us." While the French would go, "No, Marc Chagall était français, il faut être correct, he was French." And I was on Friday, I had also Israeli people on the tour, and they came to me and said, no, he was Jewish. So that's anyway something different. Now, what do we do in Switzerland when we have people fighting about someone's nationality? What do we do? Understand our mentality? We don't care, we got the painting, so fight for whatever you want. Definitely you should go and visit them, 5 9-meter tall windows by Marc Chagall. Now, who's the sponsor actually of this picture? The sponsor of this painting is a man sitting on the horse over there. And we're going to go there because he was a politician and he did the biggest mistake one could ever do as a politician in Zurich. Let's see what he did. Let's go over there to Hans Waldmann. Okay. Was beruflich? Wo?
Der
Hauptsitz ist Stuttgart immer noch, oder?
Ich glaube schon, ein Freund von mir arbeitet da gleich.
Wer?
Warte mal. Machen wir mit der Tour weiter.
Ich kenne
Dann fällt mir der Nachname
Christian
wieder
Steinle, kenne ich
Genau.
sehr. Kennst du ihn? Wirklich?
Ja, der war mit mir
Den kenne ich super. Der
Ja, der ist
war mein
super.
Vorgesetzter.
Ach echt?
Ja, Welt ist klein, muss ihm schreiben.
Total, ja.
Okay, so can you hear me? Great. So have a look at this statue and you see the name Hans Waldmann. Now Hans Waldmann was a mayor in Zurich and he was a very successful mayor because he had to fight a lot of wars and he won all of them. People liked him a lot. However, a war costs money. And after so many wars, he was running out of money. And what do you do as a politician when you don't have any money? Bravo, you raised the taxes, obviously. And that's what he did. And what was the answer of the people after he raised the taxes? Huh? They paid? Oh no, they killed him 1 week later. Of course, not because of that. Officially, there were some other reasons. They said he was a not very loyal husband and so on. Forget about that. It was because of the taxes. And today we can say this whole story a bit even cynical, because you see this house on the water over there? Well, that's the parliament of the city of Zurich and also of the state of Zurich. And on the other side, we have the house with this little clock. This is the government or the city hall. And most of our local politicians, they come from either Paradeplatz or from there. And when they go to work, they always see Hans Waldmann telling them, guys, when you're in politics, do whatever you want, just don't raise taxes. Okay, we'll not kill you, but we'll not re-elect you for sure.
Save yourself.
Self yourself, yeah. And to make the whole story even funnier, you know who paid that statue?
Taxes.
Yeah, the politician with tax money, actually. They're warning themselves, yes. So keep this in mind, Hans Waldmann. Now, remember the picture you saw before, right? We're going to go to this church, which is on the water. It's also called the Water Church. Yeah. And from there, I'll give you a sign. Whenever you hear my sign, so whenever we pass by, start counting your steps. Count your steps until we arrive at the other church with the 2 towers. And there, finally, you'll hear what's actually the whole story with these counting steps and the stoopy-headed people. Okay, let's go over there to the Grossmünster. Kannst aber Zufall, ich muss Stein wegwerfen. Hast du noch Kontakt mit ihm?
Nee, gar nicht mehr. Leider.
Ja, er war von 2008 dort, er ist dann eben zum Kaufmann befördert worden.
Ja.
Und wirklich nur 4 Wochen ein Praktikum gemacht. Ich komme in Stuttgart an. Das erste, was man sagt, du, ich bin jetzt fast im Stress, hier sind die Unterlagen und morgen fliegen wir nach Brüssel. Morgen um 7 Uhr ist der Flieger, schaut sie ab und wollen sie. Ja. Ich arbeite jetzt in einem vollen Startup-Bereich. Der Autofirma, also selbstständig sind wir, ja. Unterstütze sie im ganzen Liga oder ja, das ist ein anderer Tool, ja.
Ja, super.
Ja, ich bin am Nachmittag mit ihm, mit Julia und Patrick. Okay, from here, count your steps. Just let's wait for the tram. This tram, by the way, these series are called Cobra. Like the snake. Quiet. You almost can't hear them compared to the other noise. So we start counting the steps here until we arrive there. Let's see how many steps you need. Let's start here. 1. Huh? So, let's finally hear. Who has got less than 40 steps? Nobody. Yeah? How much? Sorry? 31. Interesting. Who's between 40 and 50? Between 50 and 60? Between 60 and 100? Probably most. Okay, who has got more than 100? Nobody. So everybody between 60 and 100 with 31 exception. Now, why are we doing this game? Come on. It's not because Zurich is so boring, because this is part of a legend. And what does the legend say? 2,000 years ago, Zurich was Paganius. And there were two Christians, and their name were Felix and Regula. And Felix and Regula were worshipping the God, or the Christian God, if you want. And because of that, the Romans killed them. And apparently their heads were chopped off just by this church. We started the counting at the water church. They were beheaded. However, instead of dying, Felix and Regula took their heads. Remember the picture from before?
Yeah.
So they took their heads, and then they walked 40 steps and arrived to this place. So they needed 40 steps. You had 31, everybody here between 60 and 100. You know, maybe they were really, really tall. I don't know how. But anyway, they arrived after 40 steps here. They prayed again, and then they died. That's the legend of Felix and Regula. I see most of you, including myself, were like, okay, so what's so interesting for us? It is an important story because this person you see standing there, or we saw before, remember him?
Yeah.
You know who's that person? A very, very famous conqueror and emperor of pre-medieval Europe. Charlemagne. Now, Charlemagne came to Zurich in the year 800, and he loved that story. He also heard the story of Felix and Regula, and unlike us, he was impressed. And because he loved the story so much, he said, this is a spiritual place. If two saints have died here, and he decided to build here a church. And that's why we still have a church here. And if you want, you can also visit this church and go down the steps, and you see the crypta, which is the leftover of Charlemagne's church from the 8th century. It's a small room with a big statue of himself, so you can't miss it. Now, what else is so unique today? It's a very representative church. You have celebrations here. The inauguration of the parliament takes place here. However, the funny thing of this church are the towers. We're going to go to the other side. Have a look at the towers, because there is an architectural mistake there. And this mistake is related to our next theme. We're going to talk about food. So let's see how this church is related to food. Okay, let's go to the other side. Okay, let's stand over there. So you can see the tower. Okay, you can stand here. I'll be here. So you can see the towers. Yes. Yes, probably that's why. It's also just a legend. We're not gonna see if it's exactly. But Charlemagne liked that story. He liked the story and he built a church. So. Great, so everybody's already taking pictures. Now tell me, where's the mistake? Or what's the unusual thing? Yeah, anyway, is anyone an architect here?
There's more sides on one.
There is more sides, okay. There's something else, something quite general that is quite interesting here. Have a look at the architectural style on the bottom and on the top of the towers. Can you see the switch? So on the bottom it's typically Romanesque, and on the top it's more Gothic, Neo-Gothic. How could this happen? Some people make a joke, they say, well, that's the Swiss people when they build something, you know, it takes generations to complete, so they mix up with the styles. No, it's a bit sad, the story. Used to be two towers, that's my cell phone. Used to be two towers in a Romanesque style, and then our biggest enemy came. Fire. Lightning hit one tower, burned down the tower, or half of it, and it had to be rebuilt. So we rebuilt the tower in Gothic style. And because we like symmetry, very simple, the other tower was rebuilt as well, so they look again the same. Now, what is in it for you? What is important for you? Next time you meet your local friend in Zurich, or you meet me for a coffee or whatever, meet the person here. And you're not going to text, let's meet in front of Grossmünster. Grossmünster is the official name of the church, which means the big monastery, because in medieval time it was a monastery for men. But that's for beginners. How do we call these two towers in Zurich? What's the inside?
Salt and pepper.
Very good. The salt and pepper shaker, or Salz- und Pfeffersteu in German. If you know about salt and pepper, well, you're either a local or you've been living here for many years, or you have joined my tour. But anyway, good reason to catch up. Or take the tour. Exactly. Keep this in mind, salt and pepper. Now, we need salt and pepper for our food. What do you know about Swiss food? Cheese. Yes. I'm going to talk about cheese. And what else? Chocolate is so important. We're going to have a whole part talking about chocolate later. Yes.
Sausage.
Sausages we eat a lot. Yes. However, what the interesting thing about Swiss food is we do have a Swiss cuisine, which I will tell you later. But we are also influenced by other cuisines a lot. So we're going to have now a short walk through this area, the Niederdorf area. Have a look on the left and right side. See what different restaurants we have. So what big influence we have from other cuisines. And after we'll talk about our dishes, for example, about fondue, and learn what you shouldn't do when eating fondue. What are the do's and the don'ts, okay? So let's go there. But first, get a bit inspired on left and right side on our food. Yeah?
Jonathan.
Yes, come.
Those little wooden structures up there, are those for pigeons?
We got a coffee, it's like it's a real coffee machine. So that's why. Coffee is not close. All good so far?
Yeah.
You it's the first time in there.
No.
Alright, what have you seen in Switzerland? Lausanne, yeah. Come here. Enjoy. You were? Let's go straight. Walk. That's impressive. All your things on the tour and then next place. So.
Yeah, I like that.
Backpacking.
Backpacking, yeah.
Where do you stay? Where do you sleep?
Couch surfing.
Here. Oh, you found
Yeah.
cool.
Nice.
That's probably the best way to discover.
Yeah, it is the cheapest, right?
The cheapest,
and the
also,
best.
and also the most authentic. Let's go here to the left. Let's go here. Have a look on the left, right side, and here we talk about. Oh, you got your way. So avec la caméra.
Yeah. But he's also coming. Like, he's gonna take
But that means it's more. Okay, let's go. Have a look at the tram.
my crew.
These are the challenges with groups. The bigger, the more challenging. Careful! Okay, perfect. Let's go there and talk about food.
Pretty much every weekend you go somewhere in Europe. So
Yeah.
it's like while I'm here, I'll
Go to make the most of it.
Yes.
Okay. Kein Problem. Stellen wir da, ist gut da. Nein, das kann man nicht. Das können wir jetzt nicht out. Stellen wir da. Gut, danke. Okay, let's move a bit here so we're not blocking the entrance. Okay, please come a bit closer so I don't need to speak too loud. Okay, so what kind of food did you see on the way? Bless you. Thai food,
Italian,
Italian food,
Spanish.
Spanish, there was Spanish as well, yes. Anything else? Swiss, of course. Italian, already said, yes. There was also French and so on. Again, we have a lot of cuisine, and if you have any question about good restaurants, feel free to ask me. Now, what is a typical Swiss dish?
Raclette.
Raclette. Raclette, melted cheese, usually eaten with potato. What else? This famous rösti. How do I translate it? Hash brown, usually, typical potatoes. And of course, the very famous dish, melted cheese pot in the middle. And you take some piece of bread or potato, put it inside a melted cheese pot, and you eat it. Now, what happens if the bread falls into the cheese pot?
It's everyone's game.
Everybody?
Everyone's game.
Everybody's game? No. It's important, you should know that when you're having fondue.
Don't reach in and get lost.
It's lost. Well, we have different rules. Some people say you need to dance naked on the table. I think that's rather a joke. I really never saw anybody playing like this. But some people say you need to pay the dishes for everybody in the restaurant. So pay attention, it's gonna end up as an expensive night. Some people say you need to buy a round of shot for everybody. This is gonna end up as a funny night. And what do teenagers do? Teenagers, they are not allowed to drink and they probably can't afford to pay for everybody. So what do teenagers do? Yes, to kiss. They have to kiss the person on their right. And this is especially funny. I had fondue last year in winter at one of the places there. And there was a group of teenagers who came in, about 10, 12 teenagers. And I'm not exaggerating, but all of they did the first 5 minutes was strategically positioning themselves. Like, you go there, no, stay, wait, I'm here, you there, everybody there. And when one went to the bathroom, his place was, no, it's okay, it's more convenient for my bag. Like, come on. So everybody was like strategic position. So for every, whenever you have fondue, just know what rule is applied. And don't dip, don't let the bread fall into the cheese pot. Well, unless you have a nice person next to you, then why not? That's for fondue. Now, another things about food here. This is actually a subject I shouldn't talk to you about because I do it regularly and I've received sometimes already very long emails, mainly from local people, telling me, Jonathan, your tour is good, but this is a subject, don't cover it on the tour because it's a bit negative. I feel as a tour guide, I should also tell you the things that are not so good here. And one of the things that are really not good in Switzerland is food wasting. We are unfortunately one of the biggest food wasters in the world. About a third of all produced food is wasted. Let's not go too much into details, but well, let me ask you an honest question. Today is what, the 4th, right, of September? Let's say you open the fridge, you see a yogurt that has expired on the 2nd. Who of you would still eat it? Bravo, very good. Very, very good. This is how it should be. It goes that far that lately on the Swiss TV there was a professor for, how do you say, gastrology or something? Well, who knows what we should eat? And he opened a yogurt that has expired for 10 days and he ate it. Just to show us it's not a problem. Use your sense, smell, have a look at it and you can eat it. But no, we're still a lot of food waster. Now what can you do against that? There are many options. I believe one great concept is the following. I'm going to give you now some vouchers. just for you to know about all the vouchers I'm giving you, we have received those things. I'm happy to give them to you. We're not receiving any commission on any of those things. So if you like it, take it. If not, just pass it to the next person. One is called the Asbau. No, it's not As. It's Asbau, which means edible in Swiss German. And what they do is they get sandwiches, pastry products from bakery that weren't sold the day they were produced, and they sell it one day after for half or a third of the price. And they do something, of course, against food wasting. This is a voucher for 5 francs. You get a sandwich and lunch in the city. So if you want one, you can take one. If not, just pass it to the next person. Then, another important subject is coffee. How much you pay here for a coffee?
7 francs.
Too much. 7 francs. It's correct. Actually, 4.60 usually the espresso, for 80, and it goes up and up and up. For latte macchiato, cappuccino, it goes up. Now, when we started doing the tours, I asked many coffee shops if they can offer a reduced price for our nice people. And at the beginning, we had many saying yes, but as the group grew bigger, more and more said no. It's too much. You bring us too many people. Don't tell me why it's bad, but whatever. Except of one Seattle-based coffee chain called Starbucks. I met the manager, Pavel, and he told me, Jonathan, bring me as many people as you want. I'm happy to offer a 2-for-1. And then he smiled and said, you know, people will love it because we have in Zurich the 3rd most expensive Starbucks drinks in the world. Well, if Zurich is number 3, I asked him, Pavel, so who is number 2 and number 1? And he had a big smile on his face and said, well, number 2 is Geneva. Yes, funny. So, Pavel, don't tell me another Swiss city is going to be number 1. He said, no. Number 1 is not a Swiss city. So, where are the most expensive Starbucks drinks in the world? In Paris? Dubai? USA somewhere? Reykjavik? Tokyo? Singapore? Oh, wrong, it's Zurich Airport. How could you forget that? So if you want a voucher, take one. It's a 2-for-1. If not, just forget about it. And we have a car that wants to pass. Okay, if you need some more vouchers, I have them. We will go and I will tell you why it's completely normal to see here people in civil clothes like me, having a big rifle on their back, although we are in peacetime. How could this happen? And why do we have the 3rd highest gun density in the world? Well, let's talk about the Swiss Army. Let's go over there and see what we have got. If you need more vouchers, ask me. Careful if you're very tall.
Очень большой скульптур.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, wow. Well, no, I've only been here 3 months and I started work straight away. And so it's sort of just been about getting settled and kind of pretty much just trying to do as much as I can on the weekends balance work.
Trying.
Otherwise, like relationships and friendships. So did you come over and know your son? Yeah, I did. Well, I put it to be a visa, but I will be recommended to see it. Yeah. I just love it. Yeah. It's great. I think right now.
compensation for that. So it's a 2-minute walk up.
Where have you been traveling recently?
But mainly Europe. And the US. So what's your impression of Zurich?
So far it has been great. No complaints so far. It's like very, it's crazy.
We should go at 3 to the rest tour.
Okay, cool.
Because there's a complete different part of the city.
Going to
Okay.
Lisbon
There it's way more
at the end of the month.
let's say, ugly and
Versus from New Zealand's coming over.
bit more hip area.
So-
It's changed.
Right,
Okay, we stop here. If you're really tired, you can sit a bit, but you shouldn't because we're talking about the army. So don't be too lazy. Great. So, you burned some calories, you're going to get some compensation later. Let's first talk about the army, or about these things. That's a bunker, and we have a lot of them. We have 45,000 bunkers in this country with a capacity of 8.5 million people. That's our whole population, including all of you, my dear friends. We're all safe. Now, why do we need bunkers? Do you know when we've been engaged into a war for last time? When was the last time Switzerland was attacked? World War I, no, even earlier. About 200 years ago, a little French guy conquered our country. Napoleon Bonaparte, yes, he was the last one. So since 200 years, we live without wars, in peace. Nevertheless, doesn't mean that we've never been in big threats. The biggest threat for this country was World War II. I'm not going to talk about Switzerland's role during World War II because that's a very sensitive subject I could definitely not cover on this short tour. It's a very big and very sensitive subject. But to make it very simple, of course, Switzerland was afraid of being attacked. And we know today that there have been plans from Hitler and Mussolini to attack Switzerland, called Operation Tannenbaum. The reason it did not happen, that's for the military historians. There are various reasons why they didn't decide to attack Switzerland and rather do something else. So let's leave this by side. But what did Switzerland do? As you never know when the war will happen, people were standing on the border, but never knew when Hitler will attack. So the country had the idea of that all the soldiers should take their rifle and ammunition home, and whenever a war breaks out, they could suddenly go and fight. Okay, this made a lot of sense 70 years ago. However, after the war, when our biggest enemy was dead, it became kind of a tradition. So in Switzerland, everybody who serves in the army, which is the whole male population, or the male Swiss, have to serve. We serve for 21 weeks. And then every year we have a repetition course. So between the repetition courses, we have to take the rifle and ammunition home. Now, in the year 2001, there has been a horrible incident as one person took his rifle ammunition and killed 14 people in Zug, in the parliament of Zug. So a big debate started. Some people said, let's stop this crazy tradition of having a rifle and ammunition home. The other party said, no, it's a tradition. And, you know, we're a democracy, and why not? And at the end of the day, the problem is the person, not the rifle. So we should keep it. And what do we do in Switzerland when we have two different opinions again? We compromise. And what is the great compromise that has been found? Bunker. No. But for the rifle and ammunition?
Take the rifle.
Exactly. We still keep a rifle, but no ammunition. Doesn't make any sense, but this is... Of course. Let me tell you my personal story. I served in the year 2006 and 2007. Instead of serving 21 weeks, I served 13 weeks and 8 weeks because I had some university exams between. So I received twice the 50 ammunition. So in the year 2008, when I went to my first repetition course, I came with the 2 boxes of ammunition, went to the sergeant, said, "Good morning, sergeant, I'd like to bring back the ammunition according to the new law." And he looked at me and said, "Sir, it's 1 box per person." I said, "Yeah, but I received it too, so obviously I want to bring them back." And he looked at me again and said, "It's 1 per person, don't you get it?" I said, "Sir, but I served twice, so I have it too. What should I do?" "It's not my problem. Go ask the colonel." Okay? So I went to the colonel, explained to him my situation, that I had received it twice, now I just want to bring it back. And he looked at me with a face as if I would have asked him to go to the moon and back within 2 hours. Like, this is a big challenge. I said, "Yeah, but our IT system only accepts 1 ammunition per person, or 1 box." I said, "But your IT system should know that I received 2. "No, because the unit you served before and the unit you're serving now are not yet compatible, so we don't know about the other one." Like, okay. So more at the end of the day, I left. I could only give 1 back, and I had to keep the other one another year until they found a solution to get it back. Another thing, and I don't know if it's really funny or not, I would call it rather sad. Some people call it funny. We had a new Minister of Defense, Uli Mauro. Now he's the Minister of Finance. When he was elected, he said, "I want to make out of the Swiss army the best army in the world." Okay, so far so good. Then we had an incident. Some years ago, a pilot from Ethiopian Airlines hijacked his plane, and instead of flying to Paris or to Rome, he flew to Geneva. Why? Because he wanted to get out of the plane, be on Swiss soil, and ask for asylum. So instead of flying this way, he turned left and entered Swiss airspace. The French army suddenly realized there is a mistake. So what did they do? They sent jets to escort him and to force him to land. But he continued. So the French army called the Swiss army and said, "Hey, there is a problem." But nobody picked up the radio. And then finally the plane landed safely. This story ended well. But of course, it was on a Sunday, so Sunday afternoon, big press conference. First question of the journalist was like, "Sir, what's happening with your Air Force? Why didn't you respond to this emergency call?" And what is the answer our army spokesman gave?
Sunday.
Yeah. He said, "We're off duty, we're not working on Sundays." I think this is horrible. Especially funny, it's the day after, whereas caricaturists put on the Swiss newspaper a big shield writing down "Swiss Armed Forces, best army in the world, working hours, Monday, Friday, 9 to 12, and 1 to 5. And because it's soon 12 o'clock, we should change the subject and not talk about our non-protected Air Force. We want to talk about chocolate. But let's first walk over there. So we're going to go to Lindenhof. I give you 5 to 10 minutes, take some pictures. Those of you who need to go to the bathroom, there is just one over there on the right side. I'll show you. And I'll say we'll meet again at Lindenhof, and there we're going to talk about chocolate. You got any questions so far? No? You're just waiting for the chocolate. So let's go.
Oh yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, sorry.
So here is the bathroom, and here is Lindenhof. So we meet here, Lindenhof. We'll change that.
safe to drink the water?
Yes, a lot of them. 1,200 of these fountains all over the city, and you can drink. It's best water.
Where's the source of it?
Different circles. Round. Actually, that's how the women decided the war without even killing anybody. Woodstock here? It was here. It was just against the Winterthurian. Okay. I actually also heard that chocolate doesn't have calories, by the way, but let's believe it. Good. We have here a tombstone. And this is not the original one, so don't take it with you, please. It's at the Landesmuseum. It's just a copy. But we have here a very interesting story. It's a story of Lucius Aelius Urbicus, a baby that was 1 month, 5 days, and 1 year, 5 months, and 5 days old, and then the baby died. Like many babies died in Roman time, and the father buried his son here. And this is a very sad story, but also a very important story for us, because we learn a lot of things thanks to this tombstone. First of all, we have a proof that the Romans have been here, and we learn why the Romans came here. What do you think have been the main reason for the Romans to build here a city?
Military strategy?
Sorry?
It's strategically.
Military, very good. Yes, indeed, they had troops here because we're in the north of the Alps, and whenever a war would break out in the Northern Empire, they could easily move and send troops to help. Very good. What's the second reason, or even the main reason? Look at the lake and the water. What can you do with them? Can you do with it? Trade or taxes. So whoever wanted to pass by had to pay taxes. Now, how do we know all of that? And by the way, do you know how the Romans called this city? The name Zurich derives from a Latin word turicum. Now, how do I know all of that? Because of this tombstone. Because here, first of all, it's written that there is, the story of Lucius Aelius Urbicus that died here. It's not written in Zurich, it's written at the Station Turicensis. For those who speak some Latin, it's a genitive, it means the station of Turicum. What does it mean? That means that for the Romans, this has not really been a city, but rather a station. And today we know it was a tax collecting point and an army. And also the name Turicensis, or Turicum, has been also the name given to the city today. So all this information we got thanks to this tombstone. And another proof that the Romans have been here, we're going to visit just over there, are the Roman baths. We're going to have a short walk through the Roman baths, another proof that the Romans have been here. Have just a short look at this clock face. Can you see it? It's very big. You know how big it is? What do you think, what's the diameter between one end to the other? In feet or in meters?
1.5 meters.
How much? 1.5 meters? 3 meters?
3 to 4 meters.
4? Much more. It's about 8.7 meters.
That's the entire window.
Yes. I mean, it's the from one end to the other. It's 29 feet. I mean, just imagine from the floor to that's about 2 meters. So it's 4.5 times this size you have there. It's huge. Doesn't look so big from here, but wherever you are in the old city, you'll see it maybe when you continue, you're strolling around the city, you're able to read the time. It used to be also the only clock in Zurich. Let's go there, take a shorter look, and take a picture. Then we're going to walk through the Roman bath, and then go to a place where Winston Churchill has spoken to us, and probably he held there one of the best speeches ever. A really, really nice thing about the future of Europe. Let's see what Churchill said. Okay? Yeah, we need guides, especially now, so many are away. Okay, I can take some picture, and then we slowly continue and go to the Roman bath. Okay, what's your steps? We're going to the left. We're entering the Roman baths. Have a look on the floor. You'll see some leftovers of the Roman bath. Yeah, that's yourself. Let's go there. Might be a bit slippery. Have a look from here, mainly here. That's, by the way, another proof that the Romans have been here. So the Roman bath, this is just a part of it. This is the part of the caldarium. Caldarium was the warm part of the bath. And this is actually some leftovers. You can walk through it. If you really pay attention, there are also some cigarettes here inside. Apparently from Julius Caesar when he came to visit us, he smoked. Have a short look, and then we continue to the right and see and listen to what Churchill has told us 70 years ago.
Well, I'm so glad I did this. I would have really just walked around kind of like looking at yeah.
It's also first time here.
Yes.
Okay. What's in Zurich now?
I like it.
Like it?
It's pretty.
You have a next destination, or are you going?
Florence and
Oh, okay. Cool. By train.
yeah, I'm busing it to Florence.
It's going to take a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah. But I have plenty of time, so it was the cheapest way to go. But I think the bus will cost €30.
Do you have Wi-Fi in the bus?
Yeah.
Really? And does it work, the Wi-Fi?
It did last time I was on it.
Okay,
so.
that's cool. That's, by the way, where the chocolate came from, the champagne. From here, from Toy Shop.
If we only have today, would you step in Zurich?
I would go to the west door, 3 o'clock, to get different city. We can rent a bicycle for free. And you can go around and drive around. Or you can go to Hildegard, because like some people like to go there. Hill and Hildegard.
We'll see. We'll see.
of the class. Bien, Zeughauskeller, il a du Rösti.
Ouais.
Ouais, ja genau, sonst auch Zeughauskeller. Ja, gleich am Paradeplatz.
Ah, okay.
Die haben auch.
Ah, ich weiß wo, ja.
Let's go to the shade. Can I have a look here at the information? Okay, please come a bit closer. Let's move it to the side so we're not blocking any entrance or exits. Now, you've already seen it. Winston Churchill, 1946. He's been here. And what did he say? So, we're in 1946. Just wait for the rest. The group. Okay, we are in 1946, just 1 year after World War II. And today many people believe it was completely normal that after World War II there's going to be peace in Europe and the world, which isn't that clear actually, because after World War I there has also been a big peace movement, and we know what happened later. Even a bigger catastrophe came to the world. So of course in 1946 the situation was really not stable in Europe and in the world. And Churchill traveled actually to many places in Europe, and here on this balcony and also at the University of Zurich he held probably one of the best speeches ever. What did Winston Churchill say? Churchill said, the only way to bring peace to Europe is when you have European economics being interdependent, which means the German economy has to depend on the French, which depends on the Spanish, on the Italian, on the Swiss, on the Austrian, on the Hungarian, on the Slovak, and so on and so forth. Only then there will be real peace, because no country will ever have an incentive of attacking another one, because its own economy will also collapse when a war. So this will only bring actually real peace into Europe. Some people say he was actually one of the founder of what we call today European integration or even European Union. And many people make a joke of it and say, why does a British guy, Brexit, speak in Switzerland, which is even not part of the European Union, about this whole European integration process? But here we need to say Churchill was in favor of European integration as from an economical point of view, not really from a political point of view. And this is also the opinion of most of the Swiss people. We are very much in favor of European integration as economical integration, but not political integration, as the European Union is probably more and more striving to. So this is a bit the understanding of how we see the future of Europe. And Churchill concluded his really beautiful speech about European integration with the following words. He said, therefore, I say to you, let Europe arise. That Europe should arise again. And well, although Europe is not perfect today, I think we all agree that Europe has done a very, very, very big step forward during the last 70 years. And we're definitely in a much, much better time than Churchill and all of them before. So that was exactly here, Winston Churchill. Any questions to that? No? So we're going to go over there, and there we're going to talk about something you usually don't talk in Switzerland, about the biggest taboo ever. Okay, let's go there. I'm going to make an exception. Okay, we're going to stop here. Yeah. Not too much sun here. Is it okay with the sun?
Yeah.
Not too much, huh? Right, great. Okay, please come a bit closer again so we have the entrance free here. Now, I said it at the beginning of the tour. It's going to be a little test. You know, we're recruiting guides, so we need to see who's fitting, who knows enough about Zurich. Let's make a little test. Let's see what we've learned. So we start from the beginning. Who are the first one to settle down and actually build here the city? Romans, yeah. We're settlements before, but the Romans actually were the first one. Now, how did the Romans call the city? Turicum. Good. So what were the two reasons for the Romans to come here? Military and taxes. Tax collecting point. Very good. During the Roman times, there were actually two Christian people that believed in Christianity and were killed. What was the name of these two people? Yeah, what are they called? Felix, sorry, I said it. Regula and Felix. Very good. So according to legend, they were killed by the water church, and then they walked how many steps? 40. When they died at this church over there, what's the name of the church over there?
Grossmünster.
Salt and Pepper Shaker, or what's the official name? Grossmünster. Very good. Now they died there. Who loved this story and decided to build there a church? Charlemagne. Very good. Then we're about the year 800. Then we had Louis II, who was a grandson of Charlemagne, and he had a favorite daughter. What was the name of the daughter?
Hildegard.
Hildegard. Very good. Hoi. And then Hildegard, she was living here for Right, so Hildegard was living there, not for her, but Hildegard and all the ladies were ruling there for 500 years. Then we're coming to modern times. When was the last time that we were attacked or Switzerland was conquered? What year? How many years ago?
200 years ago.
200 years ago, exactly. Today will not be conquered anymore because we have the best army, except of the Air Force, of the world. And now it's break, by the way, between 12 and 1 o'clock. A very good army. And how many bunkers do we have? 45. Enough for all of us. Very good. Exactly. Good. Then we have talked about the ETH. How many Nobel Prize winner do we have at the ETH? 21. What are the names of the 21?
Einstein.
I also don't know. Einstein and, remember the other one? Röntgen. Very good. Good. Then a very important thing, what do you do when eating fondue? What should you keep in mind?
Don't drop the bread.
Well, either don't drop the bread or just have the right person sitting next to you. Both is okay. And of course, who has got the best chocolate in the world?
Switzerland.
Very good. If anybody would have said Belgium, would just have come for me for another tour. So we're going to make a second tour. Great. That's it for the tour. Now, there is actually one subject we haven't spoken about. Actually, I did at the beginning, but actually it's a really, really, really taboo thing. We're not talking about that. What is the biggest taboo in this country? Money. It's a rich country, Switzerland, but money is taboo. And I tell you how far it goes. It goes that far that, for example, me, I know a lot of things about my friends, really, even too many things that I don't want to know, but they will never tell me how much they earn. It is a big, big taboo. And it goes that far that even husband and wife were not sharing to each other how much they're earning. So in the Swiss Civil Code, Article 120 something, it is written that a married couple is forced or has the right to know about the spouse or about the other person how much they earn and what is their financial situation. So just to show you how taboo and how we're not talking about it. Now I'd like to break this taboo. As I said, I'm having one of these jobs, or one of the only jobs from in this country, which is only on tip base and without fixed income. So I'll tell you what we do with the money. We have the rule that 75% of the tips are for the guides, which is me today. So that's going to be my feedback. I'll know in 2 minutes if the tour was really good or a complete disaster. It's a very fast and easy way to say it. And 25% we spend to our association called Free Walk. And with this money we have, of course, printing costs and all those things covered. Now, as 25% for marketing and advertisement is not so much, we highly depend on good reviews. Therefore, if you like the tour, my name is Jonathan. I like to repeat it. Go on TripAdvisor, Google+, Facebook, and write down, Jonathan did a great tour. Give a 5-star. And then elaborate on 5 pages why the tour was so amazing. Bring quotes, pictures, stories, make a nice, really paper about it. If you did not like the tour, however, don't waste your time on social media. I think you have better things to do. Then, before you go, you have on the map, you have my number. So whenever you have a question or anything else, you have here my number. And I look forward to seeing you on many, many more tours. Thanks a lot for participating and see you hopefully soon. Thanks a lot. Thank you. If you want some more vouchers here,